here a little bit. All right. Day 2. Here we are. All right, got a bit surprise for you. I have Amanda in pajamas and Bruner. I took both of them to Gen Con Day 2 with me. Of course, I'm lying about one of them, but I'll let you guys decide which one did not actually go. Um, so, yes, this was Amanda's first Gen Con experience ever.
It was pretty great.
It was pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun.
Talk about what did you enjoy?
I actually surprisingly enjoyed meeting new people.
Meeting new people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And playing all new games.
Well, we played a lot of games, and we got a list of them here because we kept track of them a little bit better this time, and we figured we could talk about each one of them if you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right. So, as soon as the dealer hall opened up, the very first game we played was the soon to be released. It is the Marvel Champions LCG, and this is from Fantasy Flight Games. Now, for those of us that are somewhat familiar with the LCGs, and especially when it comes to like the Arkham Horror LCG that they had done, this is very similar to that, but you're going to be playing in the Marvel verse. You're going to be taking the role of Marvel characters. I was Spider-Man. Who were you?
Captain Marvel.
Oh, you were Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin was Iron Man, and then the other person playing with us was She-Hulk. Hey, how you doing, Chris? Um, and basically it plays just like the Arkham Horror LCG, where basically you're just you have a villain that you're trying to defeat. You have to be able to try to beat him to be able to progress, and you have all kinds of obstacles. You have other schemes that pop up that you have to deal with, and then you're also having other things in your deck that could pop up that can hinder you. But very similar to the Arkham Horror. But I guess ultimately, I guess my question to you is that what did you think?
So it wasn't bad, but for me, I feel like I maybe needed a little bit more time understanding the game. It was really hard for me to understand.
So it was hard for you to understand, and do you think that that could have been a process of just because you were just kind of thrust into the game? That was the first. So first off, it's your first Gen Con. That's the very first game we sat down and played. So could it be a combination? Oh, and 3 out of the 4 of us, you being the only one, have played an LCG and was familiar with those. So
Yeah,
do you feel like that kind of put you behind a little bit?
I do.
Yeah.
I was really nervous.
And did you think so? You felt you struggled with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Did you struggle mainly from the keywords or maybe from the steps you're supposed to take or?
How the cards work together.
Okay.
I didn't really understand that.
But do you think it's something that once you did kind of wrap your mind around a little bit more, you'd be more interested in trying?
I think so.
Yeah.
I like Marvel.
And I know you love Marvel, and the concept of it is fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be really difficult for me. Yeah, and you're right, Chris. Demoing games at Gen Con can be rough. You are absolutely right. I felt like it was phenomenal. I loved it every minute. I swore to God I would never get into another LCG, and this one's probably going to end up just when I thought I was out. They sucked me back in. All right, so when we were done with the Marvel Champions LCG, we went over and we were waiting for one game, which we'll talk about in just a minute, to open up. But we went ahead and sat down and we played Time Stories Damien. If you're familiar with Time Stories, this is a bit of more of a condensed version of it. I don't really know a lot of the changes they made, to be honest, but it's just a smaller, more compact version of Time Stories. Damien is basically, hey William, how you doing, bud? Damien is basically missing, and you're trying to find out where they're at. That's it. So it's just like Time Stories. You're going back in time. You're trying to fix whatever the issue is. So I will let you start. This was the second game you demoed, but this one is so different than anything I have ever taught you.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think?
So I was not a fan of it.
No.
I didn't feel like it was going anywhere, but I've never played a game like this before. Um, and I felt like people kept coming up missing, so
Mm-hmm.
it's awkward because
So
you're.
did you understand what you were doing though, or was that
Yeah.
still confusing?
No, I understood what we were doing. I just felt like it wasn't. I felt like the game wasn't really progressing, I guess.
Well, I think maybe because it was a demo, possibly because I've already played 3 of the box sets, so I really know how the game works more
Yeah.
so. And I think possibly if you would have gotten a longer demo, it would have made a little bit more sense to you. But the shortened, condensed version was just, I guess, just giving you such a small experience
Yeah.
to try to work with. But not your cup of tea, huh? And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
No.
And just to be honest with you, I've played the time stories, and I played 3 of them. I played the asylum, the zombie one, and then the like medieval one, and I was done at that stage. So revisiting it, sure, that's cool, whatever, but I don't need to anymore. So that's a pass for me as well with the time stories, Damien. It just been there, done that, right? Okay, and then the one that we did play, and you absolutely, well, I won't want to speak for you. We did get to demo. Are you ready for this? There is a. Why does the light keep doing that? It's driving me nuts. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Um, there is a Marvel Splendor coming out. You heard me correctly. It is Marvel and it is Splendor, and we got a chance to play that. And I don't know why it keeps flashing. It's driving me crazy. It must be from the lights up here. But it is. I'll let you go ahead. You talk first.
I loved it. I
Yeah.
love Marvel. I really like Splendor too.
Hmm.
So combined, it was amazing.
I thought it was too. Now, do you want to talk a little bit about the differences?
Uh, no, I'll let you do that.
You'll let me do that. You're always nervous. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, the differences are this. You are collecting. It's basically like instead of just getting the gems, it's infinity stones you're grabbing, and you're using infinity stones. I know it sounds weird, and that's how you're basically purchasing the heroes. The heroes are just like any other of the basic cards you place in front of you, then that they would represent like another infinity stone. Yeah, it is a short time stories game, William. Um, but you basically then they like will represent a like just like with Splendor, one of the cards then it would count towards like building your tableau is what I'm getting at. But they're heroes instead of it just being something generic. They're heroes that work towards that. Now the differences is that some of the cards could possibly be Avengers, and which means going after my pen. Which means that if you do collect the most Avengers, then you actually get an extra bonus tile that you get to immediately keep in front of you. That's worth 3 victory points, kind of like a noble of sorts. But it's actually a little bit different because that tile can pass around because if somebody else gets more Avengers, then they'll take that tile away and it'll go to them instead. Then there are basically like noble characters still up there as normal. Um, and then on top of that, it does force you to get one of the top 3 of the level 3 cards because the end game trigger is that you have to have one of every type of card in your tableau and you have to have one of the number 3 cards because that would represent the time stone. Plus, you have to have a total of 16 points. That triggers the end of the game. So, unlike Splendor, where you just 15 points, this one is a little bit different. And what were your? Go ahead.
I don't know. They were similar to me, which I liked.
Similar gameplay wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar. The mechanisms
Yeah.
are all the same, basically. But it's Marvel.
Yeah, I did like that there were more, so for the in-game trigger, there were more things that you had to, like, obstacles.
Yeah, and I like that too because then, like one of the players I hate drafted against a couple of times because he was going to be able to end
You
it,
know.
and that ended up allowing. Yes, yeah, you are, you heard that right, buddy. It is Marvel Splendor, believe it or not, and maybe pushing it back a little bit. We'll quit that flashing. It is. It's Marvel Splendor, believe it or not, and it is so much fun, man.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, it is going to be something you're going to really want to try to get. It comes out in the fourth quarter, so it won't be out till close to the end of the year. But as soon as it does, I know for a fact we're going to be picking that one up.
Yeah.
Even though I own all the Splendor already, we're going to end up picking that one up. All right, next game we played, and mind you, we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games still to talk about. We played like 13 games today. It was amazing. Was Hadara, and that's from Z-Man Games. And, basically Hadara, if you want real quick, is basically almost kind of like a drafting game, Seven Wonders style, but there's a lot more going on than just that. And if you haven't checked out any of the videos or anything on it, definitely do, because, go ahead.
It was my favorite of the day.
Really? Your favorite of the day? My goodness.
Yeah. It's a really cute game. So many different moves, different resources, gathering the resources, trying to save enough money to buy cards, and it was just really fun.
Yeah, and I thought it was really cool too. I only demoed, and all we did was the first age when we demoed it, and then you were able to play it again after that, and you were able to go through the entire experience and the entire game. Yeah, I agree, Chris. I guess maybe you could be on the fence. I know just after playing one age, I was hooked. I thought it was legit, and I really enjoyed the heck out of it. But you actually even got to play a second full game, which means that you got through the full 3 ages of it, and really, did
Yeah.
it change your impression or anything? You still enjoyed the hell out of it, huh?
I did.
Excellent.
So each level's a little bit harder, but still,
Your game, huh?
yeah.
Awesome, very good. We went to lunch after that, and when we came back, we headed over to the OP. And the very first game we played at the OP was Die Hard. I played as John McClane, and then you joined. So it's basically John McClane, and then it's just like Jaws. It could be like 3 versus 1. I played John McClane. You played with one of the villains with one other person, and plus the demo guy. And basically, it's just kind of an objective game where you can still knock each other out. But the villains are trying to basically get the code to be able to unlock the safe. John McClane's trying to do just like in the movie. He was trying to collect a radio. He's trying to collect a machine gun. Hey, Mark, how you doing, bud? He was collecting his machine gun. He was collecting shoes. And to be able to progress, and then there's like several scenarios. I believe there was 4 total acts in the game. And we played just like the first act. And as John McClane, I had to find the radio. I had to find shoes. And then I also had to find the machine gun. And so I was able to accomplish all 3 of those things before they were able to find all the hostages. I'm going to push it back one more time. We're going to see if that fixes it again.
I feel like you got those things pretty easy.
I did, because I am just that good of a character when I play John McClane. I think that's the only reason why, is because I was swinging around. I was yippee-ki-yay, I was doing all that stuff. And, I was going to the coast, have a few drinks, I was doing all that, and they just couldn't stop me, You just couldn't stop me. So I did enjoy that one quite a bit. But that's going to be one where I think it works probably a little bit better, just one-on-one, 1 versus 1. One person controls all the villains, and one person controls John McClane, versus 3 people controlling the villains and dictating, the actions.
Yep. Trying to work together without knowing all their information.
Yeah, it does make it a little hard, but you didn't really enjoy that one as much as I did.
Mm-mm.
No, you didn't. So what we played after that was the Toy Story Obstacles and Adventure. Is that what it was? And it was the co-op deck builder. And it's like the Harry Potter one, where basically it's like you got to try to get through like the scenarios and stuff, and you get the deck builder and stuff. But this one, it actually takes you through the movies, and then you unlock other characters as you progress through the movies. And I don't know. I thought it was pretty daggone cute. I really kind of enjoyed this one, and I don't know why, but I just thought it was the cutest thing. I played as Rex, and then you played as Bo Peep,
Mm-hmm.
and basically we were just having to overcome obstacles. I did think the biggest fault of the game was that, you know, the game is going to get triggered at the end by this little tracker, and once it reaches the end, we lose, and that seemed to go way too fast. And there was really nothing we could do to slow it down, and we were doing everything we possibly could. It just simply was out of our control, you know? There was nothing
Yeah.
we could really do to stop it.
Yeah,
And I thought that that was a little bit of a turnoff to me.
me too.
But outside of that, I thought that the theme and everything was extremely cute and was something that I felt like was one I would not have minded playing a little bit more, to be honest with you, if we would have had the chance.
Me too. See how far,
Hmm.
see how far we'd go, and
Yeah.
if we could go backwards on the.
On that track up
Yeah.
there, yeah, which I did finally get that card, which was going to start pushing it back, but I just don't know if it would have been able to push back fast enough.
Was it the only one?
It was
like
the
that?
only card that we got, yeah, and they were just coming up so quick, and it was just too much to deal with. And but I still think it was cute. I do recommend that one, especially as a family game. You know what I mean? Because it was so cute, and I don't know, heck, I mean, if you're a Toy Story fan, I mean, and you like deck building, I don't know why you would not at least give this one a shot, because it was really, really cute. I would love to play it more. I really would. So after we did the Toy Story Obstacles and Adventure, we played Dungeon Academy from the OP as well, um, which is USAopoly as well. Should we just skip that one for you? Yeah, Amanda did not enjoy that one. Do you know if it? They did not have it out, so the board game It was not out for demo. Unfortunately, because it was on my list today to try to demo, but it was not out. The same with Batman Talisman was not out for demo, and I was very disappointed in that because I wanted to play both of those. But that doesn't mean that they may not be out tomorrow or Sunday. So I will check back again, and hopefully they'll have one of those games out so that I could try them, because both of them are on my list to try. So yeah, Chris, I'll let you know, buddy. So Dungeon Academy, that was a big avoiding game for you. You did not have very much fun. Basically, you roll dice, and then it's a roll and draw game. So you have like a grid, and your grid matches exactly the lineup of the dice that get rolled. So basically, it's like your grid is exactly the same grid as the dice being rolled. And then basically, you're drawing a line from one end of your square, and you're going through rooms, and as you're going through the rooms, you're either going to fight a monster or you're going to collect a potion, and some monsters are bigger than others, and you have a minute to be able to guide yourself through the room and make sure you always have enough strength or mana to be able to defeat the monsters that you encounter, and that just fell flat for you. You did not enjoy that.
Yeah, and it depended on your character as well.
Yeah, because some characters seemed a lot better than others.
Yeah.
Like that one guy was able to avoid one big blue monster, which means he was scoring 2 points
Yeah.
every round just by going through it. That seemed a little OP to me.
Yeah.
Whereas mine was dependent upon I was specifically had to go through a room to be able to get just 1 point.
Yeah.
You know, that I don't know, that just seemed a little unbalanced to me right off the bat.
Yeah. And some of the what
Treasures.
treasures.
Yeah, you ended up getting that treasure there in the last round, which was a really stupid one, which changed her potion colors. So basically, like if she went and she was grabbing a blue potion, it was technically going to be a red potion instead. And the way that balance was really dumb, because you have to kind of keep track of that. And it was very frustrating to be able to do. I'm going to do that to see if it stops that flashing, because that's driving me crazy. I'd rather, let's get more intimate with the video. I think that would be nice. So let's kick back, get more intimate, pour yourself a glass of wine, relax. We're going to be here for just a little bit longer. So the next one we played was Fluttering Souls, and the name of that company is Good Games Publishing. That is that is such a funny name for a company. So Fluttering Souls, if you have played Seven Wonders Duel, and you know how the cards are lined up, and then you are basically drafting the cards, and then new cards will flip up, Think of that, but with butterflies. And then from there, it's all about set collecting. Um, well, Mark, get ready. It's round two, bud. We're getting intimate again. Doesn't matter if you've already been once. um, so it's basically that. So there's several different types of butterflies, and you have to score sets of them in order to score the point value. And then it's basically just a one versus one kind of a deal, just like Seven Wonders Duel, where you basically are trying to collect the most, sets, and then whoever has the most points at the end of each round collects a butterfly token. It is the best of five. So thoughts?
It was simple. It was short, sweet, really cute. Um, I I wonder. So I do wonder if there's different options as far as the different butterflies and variety of pairs that you can get, because I feel like your options.
Nope. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's everything in the box
Okay.
that we played when we demoed it.
So there's 5 pairs.
That's it. It'll be the same game every time. So you
Yeah.
feel like it becomes redundant?
A little bit. It's
Yeah.
still fun.
Oh, I think it doesn't take itself too serious, and
Yeah.
I think it is a very light game.
Yeah.
And I think given that we can set that up, yeah, and I know it does depend upon the layout. You're absolutely right. I do think that it's one of those games where you and I could just sit down and play without having to overthink anything.
Mhm.
And our game came down to the wire, and you got to admit that was a lot of fun.
It was.
So we both had 2 butterflies apiece, battling for the last butterfly to win the game, and we actually tied in score. She had the tiebreaker, and
And you were second player, so you originally had the
I
tiebreaker.
originally had
but
it.
You got
I
rid of
gave it up, and you ended up getting it, and that won you the game. So
Yep.
I thought that was really cute.
Yeah.
I liked that, and that really turned me on to want to play it more. So, and that could possibly make it to where we find more little strategies. I don't know. It's a light game, doesn't take itself serious, and I enjoy little light card games. There's nothing wrong with that. So
Yep.
I like that one, Fluttering Souls. So the one we played after that though was Fairy Season, Fairy Season, and that's from the same company. Good Games Publishing, and basically you are fairies. You have 5 cards in your hand. The fairies can value all the way up to 8, I believe, is the highest value. So 1 to 8. They have abilities. So like if you play, and they're seasonal. So you always start in spring. You will always end in winter. And you go through the seasons with the fairies. So like you could play a 1 spring. And that 1 spring does have an ability where maybe you can draw a card as well, add it to your hand. Or, more importantly, you get to stash cards. Stash cards means that they go into your victory point pile. The goal of the game is to try to force your opponents to run out of cards that could either be of a higher value than the cards you played, or they just don't have the correct season to play. Because you go from spring, and then somebody could change it from spring to summer, then from summer to fall, then fall to winter. But once you hit winter, you're definitely in the last season of that round. And then you go until the deck's empty, and whoever has the most points of fairies, each fairy basically just goes in. You win the hand. You take the hand. Each fairy is worth 1 point, and then there's also like big queen fairies, and they're worth 2 points. But there's also goblin cards. You want to talk a little bit about those?
So those are very handy to use when you don't have the correct season card to lay down.
Very convenient to have those. Yeah.
Yeah. And they give you pretty cool abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the trap also.
The trap, yeah, you can lay a trap on top of the deck, which means basically you're going to capture the entire deck, unless somebody else can play a trap on as well, and then they capture the deck, and then you could try to play an emperor fairy who breaks the trap. But and then there's all kinds of different little combos that are created, that are fun, and I found that one very enjoyable.
I really liked it.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun, and that last round that we had of that was just fantastic because you and the other woman were just going at it, and oh my God, I just didn't know who was going to take it.
I know. If I would have known, I would have been able to play differently, and I think I would have been able to win.
Yeah, and I think you would have too. But as it is,
Yeah.
I still pulled out the victory. So,
Yes, you
but
did.
you did good. You did
Yeah.
really good, and I think you played the right way. So yeah, Fairy Season. Check that one out. A lot of fun. It's not out yet. It'll actually not be out for a few more weeks. But after we was done with that, we played. It was actually the. Oh, actually, I played a game from Plan B called 5211. Got that right here as well. So 5211. There we go. And that's from Plan B. So basically, you're dealt 5 cards. You dealt 5 cards. The first round you play 2. Then the second round you play 1. Then the third round you'll play 1. The goal here is to try to get as many. You want to try to have the majority of the color down without busting. And what I mean by that is that in the case of a 7 or a 4-player game, if ever there were 7 of the same colored cards down, it busted that color. However, if you didn't bust, and if that was the majority, then you score those cards. So very strategic. So you're watching your opponents. You see that, oh my gosh, we're going into the third round, and there's 5 yellow cards down, and oh boy, over there's got 4 of them. That's a lot of points they're going to score. So maybe I'll play a yellow card, bust him, and then that way the next majority color card will score instead. And hey, I have a couple of those. I'll score those. And it's so fun. Really enjoyed that one an awful lot. Very strategic. Really awesome. Now you only got to watch it.
Yeah, but you won that one too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, by
You
1 point, I sure
Yeah.
did. Yeah, I pulled that one out by 1. And that was a lot of fun. And I got to play with Marty and Tony. That was a lot of fun. That was a blast. And Mike had a blast with that one. So, and then the last game in the exhibit hall that we played was Last Bastion. Yes, there can be a lot of teaming up. You're right, Chris. And Last Bastion is basically ghost stories. That's all it is, and it's set in a fantasy universe instead of like with the ninjas and stuff, and being more, and I guess in China. This one is set in more like the Middle Ages, where there's like magic, and there's like knights and crossbows and stuff.
I wasn't a fan of it.
I don't like ghost stories, so I don't like this one either. So yeah, we'll pass on that. Now, when we were done with that, we went and ate dinner. We came back. We went into the exhibit, or the dealer, not the dealer hall, but we went into just the open play area. You played a full game of Hadara, and while you were doing that, I played Ishtar from Yellow. Uh, I enjoyed it. It didn't blow me away, though. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was fun. I would like to play it again. Very much area control. It was like there's stuff there, but there wasn't enough there that really kept me interested in this game too much. So Ishtar is one of those ones where it's so borderline on, is it worth spending your game time playing, or is it, something else better to occupy that time with? I would need another gameplay of it. It was just my first time playing, had a good time doing it. It just didn't blow me away or anything. Nothing spectacular. And then the last game we played was Vindication. And I can't remember who he said was the publisher on that one. Do you remember?
So, what orange?
Yeah, something orange. But Vindication was the last game we played. And this was funny because both you and I sat down and looked at this game and instantly both thought, oh my God, that's too much.
Yeah.
It seemed overwhelming.
For the last game of the night.
Yes, for the last
Yeah.
game, and I mean, you're talking. We're starting this game at about 11 p.m. And Orange Nebula. Yes, thank you, Maverick. I appreciate it. No, Orange Nebula. So took us a couple of rounds to kind of figure out what we were doing, but after we did,
The game was over. No, I'm
well,
kidding.
it
I'm
did in
kidding.
fast. Yeah,
Yeah, but it was good. It was very intimidating.
it was just because there was so much out there.
Yeah.
And I was impressed at how quick you caught on to it. I think it's
Yeah.
really shown as to how well, you've been able to, evolve in gaming. You caught on really quick.
I felt like it was going to be a harder one to learn, but it
Yeah.
wasn't too bad.
No, I didn't think it was that bad either. There was a lot of things to do. I think the only disappointment about it is it ended a little. It ended a little fast. That was my cat jumping up on the table and wiped out. It ended a little faster than I expected it to, and that was the only downside of it. I felt like there was so much more of the game to experience that I wish I could have experienced more of it. We didn't get to fight any monsters. We barely scratched the surface of companions. I would have liked to have had more of that. That's all.
Mhm. I felt like the game would have lasted a little bit longer if you do your top 3 actions and then you're limited on the bonus amount of movement you can do.
Yeah, you talk about the bonus point, the bonus actions.
Yeah.
Maybe just say you can only do one of the bonus actions. That would have limited it for sure. But
Yeah.
but I still think that may have been probably one of my favorite games I played today because. So all right, let me be clear. Marvel Champions LCG, A plus. Time Stories Damien, C. Marvel Splendor, A plus. Just because, why the hell not? It's Marvel. Hadara, A plus. Die Hard for me, I would say about a B, and for you probably a little lower because
Just a little bit.
yeah. Toy Story, Obstacles and Adventures, I would say that's a good solid B plus to me just because it's cute, it's fun, it's deck building, I love that. Dungeon Academy, a C, C minus.
Mm-hmm.
Fluttering Souls, I would say. Are you done? I would say a good B. Fairy Season, I would say that's another B. Last Bastion, we'll just put that around a C minus. Ishtar, I would say a B. Vindication, that's an A. That's an A game to me. So that pretty much wraps it up for us.
There was a lot of games today.
So real quick, how was your first experience at Gen Con? What did you enjoy the most?
It was amazing. So I'm a shy person, but actually meeting a lot of new people today, it was really fun.
Yeah.
And playing new games in that atmosphere.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you feel intimidated? I mean, I know you did initially, but did that
Initially.
ever go away?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And a lot of good folk, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was really, really nice.
Yeah. I told all the mean people to stay home just for one day. Just for one day. So now we're going to see if we could possibly get, we know Saturday sold out, but now we're going to see if they have any more Sunday tickets because she wants to do it again. Yep. Which is always a good thing, right? So hopefully we'll, both of us, you'll definitely see me tomorrow for a day 3 Gen Con wrap up, but hopefully you'll see both of us for a day 4 final wrap up. So that's pretty much it for us today. So your game of the day was Hadara, and I think I'm going to say my game of the day was Vindication because I really enjoyed something different that I thought was going to be much more difficult than what it really was. So, all right. So, hey, look for another video coming soon. Make sure you hit the like button for me, please. And if you haven't subscribed, do so. Just so you know, lots of games coming in. So we're going to have a lot of videos coming up. So it should be a lot of fun. So, as usual, you all the best. You want to send them off?
Have a good night.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.